Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome to a further practical learning session with the topic ClimaECO, Application Controller ACS, Functions and Solutions. My name is Thorsten Reibel from the Building Academy Smart Buildings. Our session will take around 45 minutes today. The session will be recorded as always, and later you get then the feedback email together with the recording. Today, not so many slides, I promise you, so very few only. So the focus is today on a practical demonstration of the topic Application Controller ACS with Functions and Solutions. Remember, we had on Tuesday already a theoretical consideration of this product with the solutions behind. So I would like to show now as much as possible in practice. What did we do on Tuesday this week already? We were talking about this application controller, component in our range of HVAC devices and KNX. There are a lot, and the application controller, let's have a look to the complete solution ClimaECO we have. The application controller is the heart of the system for management and automation functions in a complete HVAC solution, starting from the consumption in the room. Traditional room climate control, then we have the distribution, heating or cooling circuit control, we have the generation assess, boiler or chiller, and then on top we have additional software features needed, for example, to integrate everything, to have a consistent solution, but also you see here to have, for example, interfaces available to BACnet, and we will talk about this, or we demonstrate this also today. Let's have a small overview finally before I come to a real practical demonstration about the four main solutions, and we will talk about this in practice today as well. As mentioned, the BACnet interface I will show. Then we come to these predefined automation functions, so-called ASM, application-specific automation functions, predefined software blocks in the component to be used together with the components. I will show you here, not everything, but some. Also, remember our solution with the fresh air damper we would like to integrate. There we needed a freely programmable automation function. Like in our logic controller, we will see this as well. And of course, we go to the web user interface, where we'll have everything visible, what we are doing, and quite user-friendly way of looking into the device, but also into the functions behind. And everything I would like to show right now. So for this purpose, I share my desktop. So I would like to start, first of all, with some information about the component within the ETS. It's important to understand because it's a bit different. First of all, I'm not now in the normal parameter environment. I'm in the so-called DCA. You see it here in the middle on the bottom. DCA, Device Configuration App. It's the additional, let me say, software part for some products in the ETS to create a more user-friendly and powerful parameterization. And if we go to the basics here, you see on the lower right side the option to integrate apps in the ETS. You see I have some ABB apps here, and one is the ACS configuration app, version 1.0.13 at the moment. You can add some, and if there are some updates, you click here on this arrow button and then it search for any updates, but everything is up to date and further apps are available. This is a product app, so we can find this in our homepage directly as a product, but also in the App Store at the KNX homepage. So I have here already created a project with some components, including the application controller, and now I'm directly in the DCA, where I created already some functions. Remember, we have the so-called ASMs, the library here on the left, and I placed already some of these ASMs, these application-specific automation modules here in the middle, and parameterized this already. So we come to some of these automation, remember, freely programmable logic, then we have the trends, then we have here the access to the room, all these things we can do. We can structure this a bit here. You see I have some headlines here, various functions, damper control, first floor, the same you find here. You can create this here by a plus button and add some more. Of course, you can delete this as well. And this will be then a bit better structure. Very important because you see the same later also in the WebUI. And there you can jump then directly to any of these floors or rooms, which you cannot do here in the ETS. You have to search by going up and down. So what else is important? We have here some adjustment with these device settings here. IP network, KNX is a Telegram limitation. BACnet, we come to this later. Yeah. WebUI, you can define different users, different user levels with different password. And for each user level, you can define what is visible in the WebUI. So you can remove everything for the viewer. Of course, makes no sense, or partly something, and then it's not available for the viewer, but for the administrator, it's available. And as we have also time functions, we can decide here where is the source of the time functions, network time protocol, KNX, or also BACnet is possible. What else do we have here? A kind of notification. All our elements we have available, the maximum number you see here, will be shown how many are already in use. So I have used already 35 ASMs, BACnet objects. I have used 20 only out of 500. Remember, 500 are possible. Good overview. What is the capacity of the device compared with your program already, your project already. So if we click on any ASM, let me go now to this room ASM. You get on the right the parameters. I don't go here at the moment in the details. You see it's not highlighted at the moment if I have programmed this already. You have to click here on reinstall, and then you can again change anything. Yeah. And if you have changed anything, automatically on the upper right side, a message appears that you have changed something, that you should save this. And how to save? You go to the left side to this good old disk icon here, and then you save it, and then this message disappears. Very important. And then, of course, you make the download to have everything inside the component. Good. Yeah, I have programmed here already something. Let's have a look to the WebUI first of all, and then I go to the WebUI, but then I go also into the ETS, and then we go step by step what I have done, and we will see what's going on in the WebUI. So, how to assess the WebUI of this component? First of all, very simple. You have to know only the IP address of this device. You type it in your browser, and then you open this. I have opened this already, and I can do it later with another application controller I have here in my installation. Then we can see this. Yeah. But it's also possible to use the ABB IBAS tool. Let's do it like this. I close this here. It's already done. No, I can keep it. But I open now the ABB IBAS tool. Go to Connect. And if you have, normally this is the first screen you will see, but if you go on IP devices, you will find all your KNX related IP devices here in your network, and you can sort it here or filter it here regarding the components. Let's go to ACS 121, and I have two components here in my installation with these two IP addresses. So you find it as well. 46, that's I have right now. You see it here, 46, the IP address, and this is the other one. And if I click here on this open website, it's on the other screen, I put it over here. It's another browser which will be open. Now it opens the web user interface of the other component. I can log in, but I don't do it at the moment. So it's also very easily possible to open via the IBAS tool, the web user interface. So I'm already here in. So let's have a look to some things in the WebUI. First of all, the navigation structure. Remember here, this is the same structure I have done in the ETS. And you can click directly here to any of your ASMs in the structure. So classroom number 1, for example, then I see it here directly. First floor. So it makes it much easier to navigate through maybe a very comprehensive web user interface you might have. Good, let's go to one ASM, so this application-specific automation module, and let's take a room ASM. I have created already in the ETS a room ASM, school director. I click on this. and then automatically what I have parameterized in the ETS will be shown here. And what did I do, or what did I have? I have a simple fan coil controller. I have some more information. I have a CO2 and humidity measurement in the room. Of course, I can also operate here something. At the moment, it's not running. I see the operating modes, operating type, it's cooling at the moment. And later we come to this fresh air damper I have also integrated here. So let's take some action. I'm in the cooling mode already. I would like to have 23 degrees. Yeah, but it's already 21 degrees, so nothing happens. It's closed. So I can go down here. You see, I'm now below 21 and it starts to regulate. It's a real action, of course, in the fan coil controller. And the fan speed is 20% at the moment, and it opens here around 14%. So I go down a bit more. It increased, of course. Okay. So you see directly what happens if I simulate now. Yeah, I can simulate here, for example, a higher CO2 concentration. I can do it here with a touch panel I have programmed just to simulate other values. Then you will see directly here also the value. You see, I move now the slider here and it changed the CO2 concentration. So it overrides at the moment my real measurement. So it's a real web user interface where you see actual values, of course. Yeah. I open now the window. You see here on the left a window icon. I do it in reality on my training board. You see it's also opening. What happens? I'm in cooling mode. It goes to heat protection. You see on the right the value is 35 degrees and it stops cooling, of course. So it's a heat protection. If I close the window, it goes back to the normal mode. Yeah. So it's real interaction with the hardware I have here. So in this way you could create many rooms just to have a good overview regarding HVAC and to operate something and to change something. For example, I can also turn off here the controller completely, and then of course it's off. So even operation is possible. Yeah, how did I program this? Let's go to the ETS. So you see again here, room school director, the same appears here. I took a room ASM, you find it here, placed it here and parameterized this. So more or less I said only what I would like to see and what I would like to operate in my room ASM in the WebUI. So you see I have used fan coil unit, but no additional stage. I have no radiator, no floor heating, no cooling, ceiling, split unit. I could integrate this. I would like to see humidity and CO2 value. I would like to see the window status, and I would like to operate something here. Yeah. Operating mode I can only display in the WebUI. If you want, you can also change this from the room ASM. That's possible. But controller on off, you remember I could change this. I used display plus setting. So very simple in principle. Yeah. And of course, behind this room ASM are a lot of communication group addresses from the real hardware, from the room temperature controller, from the actuator and so on. And where do you find it? In the group objects, of course. If you click here on the group objects, you see I did already here a lot. And here are all grouped objects of this room. And a lot of group addresses from all the other components which work together with my additional intelligence here in the application controller. So for example, CO2 comes from the ABB Tenton with this group address, and then it's available and can be processed within the application controller. Okay. So let's have a further look to some more ASMs in the WebUI. I close this here. We were talking about the scheduler function last Tuesday, so time function. I programmed this here as well, and I parameterized the operating mode scheduler in the ETS. You see it's on top, and I click on this, and remember it's a very user-friendly way to adjust time functions for 1-bit telegrams on off, for operating modes and also for temperature values. That's possible. It's HVAC related, of course. And practically, it's a weekly timer. We adjust for each day in the week. Yeah, for these 4 options for building operating mode, yeah, different times. For example, we have now Thursday. I click on Thursday. Standard is comfort mode the whole day. I say, no, I need economy mode starting from this time and then later again comfort mode. And of course, you can change the time here with a slider. It's up to you. So now, weekly timer, Thursday. For sure, we are now in the economy period at the moment. And I confirm this here. And let's have a look again to our room. And operating mode changed to economy. You see it here on the right. Means it's this cooling mode, high set point more or less off. Yeah. I go back, say no, this was not good, I don't need this. I can delete this here. And then of course the whole day is again comfort mode. Let's have a look. Yes, comfort mode. Yeah. So very simple to change any time functions here for HVAC. As a weekly timer, okay, for each day in the week you adjust something, whatever you want. So very simple, just drag and drop, change the time when it starts, when it stops, again standby, and then it's done. Okay, weekly timer is good, but even better is to have also special days available, and then you go here to exceptions, add an exception, and now you can say, okay, today I would like to have a different time program. Then you say start day, and also end day is here the 12th, so period is only one day, and this day I would like to have standby mode mainly, whatever you want. And you create the exception, and then for this day, or for a number of days, you can also have a period, of course, you have a special time program. Yeah? And to see what you have done finally, you can go to the calendar and see for each day what is the time program. And you remember for the 12th, I've made a special program. Yeah? So I think very user-friendly. I remove this exception here, it's also possible. And then I have again, nothing special if I delete this here as well. Huh? So it's the same way you can do it for 1-bit telegrams on off and also for temperatures. How to do it in the ETS? Where is the scheduler? Remember, it's here under various functions. Here, operating mode. It's another ASM. You take it from the left here. Operating mode scheduler. Place it here. And then, more or less, it's very simple. No parameters. Here, we come later to BACnet, of course. No parameters. It's only if I go to the group objects, a group object to be assigned to the group address. I have to sort this here to a group address where I would like to take action time-wise. Here. This is the group address for the operating mode in my temperature controller. Yeah, I think very simple. Let's go back to the web user interface. We were talking on Tuesday about this trend, kind of data logger. Yeah, this is very nice. I have, as mentioned, another application controller here in my home running with some more data. So I don't go here into this one I have created here, outside temperature trend. I go directly to the other application controller, which is already running. I programmed here yesterday a lot of values to be recorded with a trend. And let's have a look. What we can take here? Let's take outside temperature. So I have recorded here each 5 seconds for 1 day the outside temperature. If I click here in the web user interface on this block, it appears, and now we have in a graphical way, in my case, 3 different temperatures. So I measure 2 different temperatures outside and 1 in the living room. And you see here the values. You can go over the timeline and see directly each of these three values. And shown in one graph because it's the same data type, 2 byte, and can be shown directly here. So it's yesterday I programmed the device, so it reset everything what was done before, and now it recorded up to now. And you see you have your timeline. If you want, you can mark this with the left mouse button and zoom into a smaller range. This is also possible. Or you say, I would like to have 1 hour here. All these things are possible. And you can change here the speed, the way of displaying it. Line, okay. Columns, that's a bit less user-friendly in my opinion, or speed. So these are the three options. And as mentioned, on Tuesday we can export this as an image, or even better as a file, Excel for example. Then automatically will be exported. You can click on this file and oops, it will open all the values I've recorded. With time and date, of course. And you can process it anywhere else. Also very simple in principle. I go to one more. What do I have here? Remember I mentioned that I have recorded in my kitchen the more or less refrigerator power over time. So we can have a look to this as well. So that's, this turning on and off of the compressor you can see here quite well. Let's go here to this period. And you see now in details what happens. The power goes on, the compressor is on for a certain time, then it will be switched off. And then temperature falls below a certain level, and then it turns on. Two-step control in principle. So it's also possible. So it's nothing to do with HVAC, it's a real power value here recorded. Okay. What happens here? A new update is pending. Please reopen the detail view because all the time new values come in. It's not an online writer here. You have to update this by closing and opening it again. And then you have the last values as well here. That's the reason why this message appears here sometimes. Okay, how did I do it in the ETS? Let's go to this one. I have one trend here already done in my board ACS here with some other values. So very simple. If you take here from the ASM library trend, you place it here, then you go to the parameters, and I've created here 4 trends, number of trends up to 5 in one box. 10 times you can do it, so 50 trends are possible. So I've used 4, and I've said, okay, trend 1 is it outside temperature with this data type here and data pointer subtype. So this I have added here. How to assign to the real group object or group addresses. If you do it like this, it's very simple to parameterize. You go here and click on linking view. That's now important. Internal connection, I go to linking view and I see now my box trend with 4 trend inputs as a box. And we see here already some plus signs. And if I click on this, then I have added here other ASMs. This is an ASM value only, where I take the value from the weather station. And these are other ASMs for the room. And I take from here, for example, the fan coil unit fan speed. And I add it here also as a trend input. So I connect it here with drag and drop. I remove this. Left mouse button, you can link it directly here. So that's a way to connect some ASM's internal connection, let's say, directly to other ASMs. So you don't have to work always with group address. You say, okay, the value is already existing in my application controller fan coil speed. I can use it directly, take it from here, and connect it in addition to the trend. I come to this later back when I come to this damper function. Good. So that's the way I can record values. In principle, neither that complicated. Then let's come or go back to the WebUI again. And remember, I go to the other application controller. Remember the function we have discussed on Tuesday, additional air damper integration in our fan coil control. So I programmed here something as well, but before we do this, allow me to show 2 slides. What we are doing, I go here to the presentation mode. Remember, we have our fan coil control, we have our application controller, the fan coil controller here, we have an ABB 10 tone for measurement and so on. Classical fan coil control, and our additional task was to integrate a fresh air damper here on the right side. With the logic, if the CO2 concentration is greater than 2500 ppm, then via the relay contactor of the fan coil controller, the damper shall be opened. So it's a simple on-off function only. You can improve this by continuous control and so on, but let's make it as easy as possible for demonstration. Yeah. So this was our task. And how to do this? We use a freely programmable logic and connect it to the measurement or compare it with the measurement to send out a telegram to open and close the damper. It's a simple comparison of a fixed value, 2500 ppm, with a dynamic measured value. So that's our task. Let's have a look how it works first of all before I show it in the ETS, how it's programmed. Let's go back to the school director room, to the room ASM, and remember here we have these ASM programmed. So I go now here to a simulation. I increase the CO2. And remember, I can override something here. You see now the ppm is above 2500 parts per million CO2 concentration, means the damper is open. So now I go down to the level below 2500. Now it's only 1600, and my training board was clicking right now. The relay was operated, and you see here on the upper left side closed. I do it again. I go to a higher level, 2700, valve will be opened. So a real representation here of the function. I cannot operate this from here, but I can do it from a separate ASM I have created. Means I've programmed here an additional function to operate from the web user interface the damper as well. So on is open. Now I go to off. Okay, what you see now, the CO2 value went back to the real measured value. What does it mean? It closed automatically. Let's have a look. You see it's closed now. So I can open it now manually. Let's do it. I go to on. It's again clicking here. Let's go to the room, and it's open again. So it's possible to override, of course, as well. Very simple. How did I do it? This logic together with the other function. Let's go back to the ETS. So, and here is my situation. I took a so-called automation ASM. This is a freely programmable software functionality inside the application controller. This is this one here. And I programmed this. How to do? After placing it here, you can click here in the parameters on the logic editor. Click on this, and then a totally different environment appears, like our logic controller ABA is in principle, where you can use on or take on the left individual functions, place it here on in the working sheet, and parameterize it. And remember, I've programmed, or I've created this logic with a comparison of a dynamic value, CO2 value, with a fixed value, a constant value, and with a greater function, which you find here. So you have here the function greater than. Then you take an input, and then you can connect it here. And each box can be parameterized here on the right, not all, but greater than. You see, I can have it also as an input here, the comparison. So I have some options here. Depending on the box you are selecting, you can parameterize also something. So I can delete this here, of course. It's like our logic controller ABAS, the same principle. If you have done your logic, then I close it here. Okay, I've changed something, maybe I have to store it. No, I did not change really. And then this function is inside, this logic is inside this box here. And the additional thing I have to do, I have to connect it to the real in and outputs. How to do? I click again on the linking view. And I've added this to a output, 1 bit, open and close the damper. And I've connected it to the CO2 measurement. I need this, of course. So practically, it's then like I go back to the presentation. Remember this one here as a part, and these are the additional boxes I set to create the connection or the communication. I've created a separate input for CO2. You find it here. Yeah, with a group address behind of the ABB Tenton, but I can improve this solution here. I go back to the linking view. Oh, I have to go back. I take this one plus, press the control button plus the room school director here, room, ASM. So these both I would like to see in linking view. So again, I show everything. CO2, okay, I use as a separate one, but have a look here to all the outputs from this room ASM. There's also a CO2 value available. Why using a separate one? I can improve the solution. I delete this here and take directly from here this CO2 value. So I save this box here. I don't need this anymore because the CO2 value exists already here inside my application controller as a value. And I can internally link an ASM with a freely programmable logic to create my final solution. So resulting in the same effect, just to show you how to do something internally here. So I'm totally free to connect existing ASMs I have already with my freely programmable ones to create a complete solution. Internal assignment, internal programming, no communication to outside here, first of all, needed because it's internally connected. So it saves also a bit traffic and makes it easier to program something instead of using always group objects with the group addresses. Condition, of course, is that the value exists already in my application controller. Okay, that's the logic I have created here. And what is still missing in the functions we were discussing on Tuesday? I think many are waiting for this BACnet interface functionality. Yeah, how does it look like? I show again 2 slides from our presentation on Tuesday. So I have to go to 27. Remember what we discussed on Tuesday. How to create a KNX BACnet interface, which is part of this application controller. We take a value ASM with a data point we would like to have available also in BACnet. We adjust it, parameterize it. I come to this directly in the ETS. And we enable it here with a BACnet name and a BACnet ID number. Behind this value ASM exists a group object I assign to the group address, which belongs to the KNX data point. And then in principle, it's available as a BACnet data point as well. But I will show it. And then you can see it on the KNX, the same value on the BACnet. And if you want, also on the web user interface. Let's have a look. I show you first of all how it works, because I can show you here also in the software tool BACnet telegrams. And for this purpose, I have a so-called software BACI, which is a software just to read or to write BACnet telegrams here on my PC. So if you start the software, it looks directly on the network that finds a BACnet device. And you see here I have an application controller, a second one. Remember, I have 2 here in my installation. Okay, this product is something for the future. We will see. It's also a BACnet device, ABB Building Edge. How to identify now these components? We have 2 different names and different ID numbers, 900 and 666. Let's go back to the ETS and now go back to the device settings and here under BACnet. So my device here has this name and this BACnet device object instance number. Wow, what a word, 900. I can change this here, of course. And it's here also visible. So that's my device. If I click on the other one, that's what we have just seen for the trend information. There is no BACnet integration. You see on the right, no data points. But here I have done some. And these are KNX, original KNX data points linked now to BACnet. Not all, but some I have used here. Let's have a look whether it works already. I have here also the outside temperature. Oh, 42 degrees? Not really, because I simulate here the outside temperature. I can override this. I come back to my touch panel here and I change now the outside temperature to show you that it's on the KNX side I change, of course, that it will be changed also on the BACnet level. So I've changed this right now, but to see it here I have to refresh. On top you see here double arrow icon and it's now 28.5. To prove that it's really 28.5, I go back to my web user interface where it's also shown here. On top, you see it here, outside temperature. So it's the same. And in KNX, of course, as well. So it's really simple to change outside temperature. I change again. 50 degrees I have adjusted. I refresh here. Almost 50 degrees. So very simple. Yeah, just an explanation. You see here BV, it's binary value. That is the ID number of the data point. You see the same in the ETS. I come back to this. And this is the present value here. Can I also write now from BACnet to KNX? Yes, we have learned that the application controller ACS has a bidirectional communication. So let's try this. I have here two functions which I can control via BACnet, program in the ETS. One is a controller of the director's room. I can turn it on and off via BACnet. At the moment it's on. Let's turn off. I click twice on this data point. And then I see on the upper right side, the present value it's on. I would like to change it to off. I click here on send and you see the current value is on, new value off, and I send it now. And confirmed here by the green marker. Let's close it and let's have a look to the WebUI. Yeah, it's off, as you can see here. Let's go to a further function. To the fresh air damper, which is a moment close. You see it here in the WebUI. The same is written here. Off means close. So I click again twice on this. Go to on. Go down here to the send button. And old value off, new value on, and I send it now. And you see here it has been changed to open. So no problem to send also from BACnet to KNX directly. So how is it programmed in the ETS? So let's take this on-off command and how to program this as a BACnet interface. It's an on-off, 1 bit only. You can parameterize here. Here you find now the way to communicate, not only to BACnet, but also to KNX, to web user interface, and so on. And you see here BACnet. None, then it's not a BACnet data point anymore. I just deactivate this. Read plus writable and readable by BACnet. So I have activated read and writable because I want to write also. So this was existing from the programming point of view. And what else you see here? BACnet. Click on this. Here you can change the name. Click on custom name. You can change the name. And you can change the ID number. No problem to change this. So this is adjustable here. The way of communication you adjust to WebUI, to KNX, to BACnet. Not more, not less. The data point type you adjust here. And then it's a data point for BACnet. Let's have a look. 99,201. It's, of course, here, this one. You see it here. Yeah. Here. That's exactly, you will find it here. Good. That's the way you adjust one BACnet to KNX data point as an interface. Do you have to do it with every of these data points you use already here? No, not really. It's much easier in many points if we go back to our controller, our school director's room. Yeah, we have already a lot of group objects assigned, a lot of KNX data points assigned. And if we go down here, you will see immediately all these data points available also in BACnet, but of course you can disable this as well per data point. You say, no, I don't need this. You click here, or you disable it completely. So all data points related to the school director are now disabled for BACnet and enabled. And for each data point, you can change the ID and so on. But you have to do it here manually. We cannot import here any BACnet data points. It's only possible this way I've just explained. But if you use it only as a simple data point, interface from KNX to BACnet, then you create only these ASMs value with a dedicated data point type, and then you adjust it here regarding BACnet, read and writable or only readable, and then it's done. Good. That's what I wanted to show to you. More or less almost the functions we were discussing also on Tuesday. I go back now to the presentation. As always, I have some final slides for you. So on our homepage, you find everything around the products we have in our training qualification database, all our training stuff as presentations, as videos, and also on our YouTube channel, we have all these videos. And this session will be also stored there in the next days. Our software repository is more or less the collection of all our ETS applications from the beginning of KNX up to current components. So you get for every product any ETS application in ABB IBAS KNX. It's very good if you have an old product you would like to reprogram and you need an old application. It's all here available on our homepage. abb.com under additional materials, download for KNX, and then it's an Excel file called software repository. It will be always updated with the new components, and very useful if you look for older applications in ETS or in KNX. Yeah, light and building, hopefully now I'm pretty sure that it will take place now in October this year. Date is fixed and it looks quite well that we can run this fair. It will be a classical fair as you know it from the last years. Over 20 years we have the Light and Building already in Germany, and so we will be present at hall number 12 ABB, but there will be also a virtual fair called Building Digital Extension, Light and Building Digital Extension. Go to the homepage of the Light and Building and you get, I think, some more information. Good. What is planned next? We have planned for 1st of June in webinar about the ETS 6, the current version available for half a year around, and we will show you a bit more here in the ETS 6. I think we also continue now more and more with the ETS 6 after half a year, and some updates we got already. It should properly running right now. So this is planned for the next webinar, 1st of June. I say thank you for your participation, and hope to see you in the next sessions. We will invite you, of course. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao.